We are live now, Julian. Right. Hello. Welcome to another installment of the Illios campaign, subtitled Rise of the Celestial Imperium, Session 23. Yet to be named because I never name my sessions beforehand, because why would I do that? Anyway, I'm Molly. I guess this is Masters of Dungeons. Great intro, guys. Or great intro, me. Okay. Here are our players.
As always, I am Logan, and I'll be playing Illigith, the Lionheart.
Logan, I think what you meant to say is until I am tragically killed off for story reasons. But my name's Wesley. I formerly played Malvadrian von Silas before he was tragically murdered by the DM, who shall be named. And I will be playing a new character who is yet to be named. You'll find out who he is this session.
My name is Julian. I have never done this before, as in done an intro. I have played the game before. I'll be playing Milo, and I provided you with his name because I am not an edgelord.
You'll get there.
I'm Ryan, and I will be returning to Noki, who has recovered from grieving his family, who was tragically murdered by the DM.
Sensing a theme here. Alright, anyway, it's okay, Wesley. Your character of Balvadrian will be introduced sooner or later. Right, but for now, let us go ahead and get into it in 3 seconds when I turn my auto lock feature off of my phone, because that's where all my notes are. Alright. Whew.
We're so meta.
Milo. Slowly opening your eyes from the dregs of unconsciousness, you notice that you're floating. Amidst the dark waters, you rise in a panic, shivering. You're cold. You see an endless purple sky, so dark it's almost black. Storm clouds span the void and roil. Lightning and thunder boom in the distance. You wrap your arms around yourself, trembling. You're so very cold. A man in white stands in the waters across from you, facing the oncoming clouds. He glows faintly. Something brushes up against your leg. You look down. The face of a young boy stares back at you with glassy eyes, his body bobbing in the dark waters. He is one of thousands at your feet. You're so cold you can't feel the pain. Such a terrible pain. The roiling clouds fall from the sky, extending to touch the waters. An army of shadowy figures emerge, one at their head. It stares at you with bloody eyes. You know them, these eyes that glow with hate. You're so cold you can't forget. How could you ever forget? It speaks. We have much work to do. Subject 4571. You are mine, and always will be. A name comes to you, a name drenched in hate and fear. Kronos. The man in white turns to look at you, a regretful smile upon his lips. His eyes were light itself. A small amulet around your neck begins to glow. I am sorry, small one. I ask that you forgive my selfishness. You're so cold, you can feel the warmth wash over you. You look to him. Was he crying? The man in white turns, his back to you, facing the Dark Legion as they march. The waters begin to tremble, the void itself shaking as if beneath a great weight. He needs you, small one. They all need you, as much as you need them. An inhuman roar erupts from the storming clouds, resonating with the color of hate. You weren't cold anymore. Before your eyes, the world is ripped asunder. As you awake with a start and your vision clears, you see a large man with kind eyes smiling down at you. He too seemed to faintly glow.
Who are you?
Hello, friend. You are awake.
Um, am I awake? He kind of
Well,
looks around.
considering I am not asleep, you are awake.
Your voice is strange. Who are all of you? Where am I?
We are deep below the dwarven stronghold.
Are you talking about Hammerlock?
Perhaps.
What? How did I? And he kind of is slowly standing up and trying to back away from all of you.
Do you have a name?
I'd... Milo. You can call me Milo.
Then we will call you Milo. Now, Milo, you came out of a giant crystal in the center of this room. We have no idea what is going on with that.
A crystal? And I look around the room. What is in this room?
Yep. So to kind of remind everyone, y'all are essentially in an old, rundown, ancient kind of looking laboratory. There are 2 levels to this place. Y'all are all on the first level right now. There are multiple tables and strange instruments, shattered, toppled about. Towards the center of the room where Milo was, there is a raised platform, and around that you can see just the shards of this white anacalcum gemstone that Milo was trapped in. On the ceiling is basically covered in normal purple anacalcum, these stalactites of anacalcum that just kind of protrude.
Milo getting a grasp of his surroundings, and he looks towards the elevated section and just kind of... You see a look of fear in his eyes as he kind of backs up and says, "Can we speak elsewhere? I don't like this room."
I don't see why not. Were we leaving?
Is it... Could I get some clothes from someone?
Yeah, Milo is pretty much just dressed in rags.
Illios just looks down at his frame.
Yeah, so Milo, I like to think that as soon as you're talking about, I don't like this room, I'd like to get out of this room. Um, everyone that's kind of in there were these two monsters that y'all were fighting. These huge, kind of grotesque creatures that had begun to disintegrate away. Illigith, you distinctly remember that as they were disintegrating away, you heard voices, multiple voices, thanking you for releasing them from their prison. And where those two monsters lay are actually the bodies of two young children with a stark, pale white skin and their eyes just kind of smoldering like they've been burnt out.
Milo's skin would also be the same color.
Yes. And if no one else would say anything up to this point, a man who is basically just struggling to get up, struggling to stand, would kind of show himself. That man being Soren, and just kind of breathing heavy, and say, "We did not get a chance to explore this room just yet. I'd like to see if there's anything here that pertains to what you are, or why you were here." And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I believe Gnocchi knocked Bjorn out to get the ghost out of him. If y'all remember, I believe that's what happened.
I think. Yeah, Noki blasted him.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of in the room. Soren's barely standing up. Bjorn is just kind of on the ground groaning.
Can I wait in the hallway while you search? I don't want to be here any longer.
And as you kind of go to like wait outside of this room, Milo, you feel like the two sets of eyes, the smoldering eyes from those children, are just kind of staring at your back, not taking their eyes off you.
Is anyone in the hallway when I go there?
There is no one in the hallway. Um, this this is what the hallways look like, Julian. Basically, like these catacomb looking things, except for on the sides are very noticeably chiseled out portions of the wall with that essentially look like jail cells, and all of them are pretty much filled with bones.
Okay, Milo just kind of stands in the middle, and he's just holding his arms and waiting and watching everyone in the room.
All right. So, Gnocchi, what are you doing?
Noki had kind of forgotten about Bjorn for a second as Milo was waking up, but hearing him groan, Noki would holster one of his pistols, keep the other one drawn just in case. And he'd walk over to Bjorn to make sure he's okay and treat any medical needs.
Yeah. So thankfully you weren't aiming to kill with your shot. So there are definitely some wounds. You did take him down, but nothing life threatening. It was just something to get him on his ass,
Yeah.
so that so that the ghost, which, by the way, is that there's still kind of like a frozen like silhouette or like statue of that thing for when Milo had dealt the killing blow last session. Just kind of to the left of the raised platform where y'all were fighting.
So while Gnocchi is going and checking on Bjorn's body, I would kind of follow suit with him, and as he's kind of like leaning down to check on him, I'd get close to him. I'd say to him in a whisper, Gnocchi, there is something quite strange about this child. He has a certain sinister nature to him. I cannot explain what exactly it is I'm feeling, but I don't know what this madman did to him, but I'm getting this really sinister vibe from this child. Just thought you should know.
I feel it too, but I don't know if it's that of a tortured soul or if it's something else.
I have been around my fair share of tortured souls, my gnomish friend, and there is something quite unique about this boy. Something dark and something powerful. He should not be underestimated. I just wouldn't turn my back to him, is all.
We shall keep an eye on him.
Indeed.
Over in the corner, Illigith, there's like a loud crash, and Illigith is like, his hand like frozen in the air as a bunch of lab equipment falls on the ground.
You don't really know what is in any of those scientific equipment. You should be more careful there.
Oops.
See, I do not think that we have been properly introduced. He goes over to you and he extends his hand. You may call me Omen.
Ah, friend, I see. Omen. It is pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. You know, you bear a strong resemblance to someone I knew back in an old life. Are you, by any chance, he kind of like brings in kind of close to your ear, like as secretly. Are you a white lighter of Kel?
Huh.
I believe in this time period you call him, oh, what was it? Was it Il Mater? Was it something? I think it was that. Yes.
Ah, yes, of course. The
You don't seem to be a white lighter if you are. I feel like they would know that information about themselves. So
yeah.
if you're not a white lighter, then what
God.
are you exactly? You just
I was adopted.
Adopted. What does that mean? You are born of mother, but you have the powers of someone who was created, the divine servant.
It's complicated, friend.
I see. Well, perhaps you'll tell me this story once we get to know each other a bit better. But I'll leave you to your, and he kind of looks down at the broken glass, explorations. Tell me, actually, before I go, I'm curious. And he kind of looks over to wherever the child is at. That boy, what do you sense from him?
He has seen a great deal of things. And certainly there is power inside that he may not completely know how to control. But I sense he has a pure heart.
Illigus.
Interesting. I sense the well. Oh, sorry.
So Illigus, I'd just like to say this. As Omen is kind of asking, what do you sense from this child? You kind of like look at him and kind of zone in. You definitely feel something that is kind of off-putting about him, but nothing particularly evil. But one thing you definitely notice, the amulet that Milo is kind of wrapping his hand around to himself, kind of nervously looking about, you feel a familiar presence from that amulet. And it feels almost like the shield you carry. That is all.
So I believe you just said that he had a pure heart.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sense something similar to. Tell me, have you ever fought in I believe they call it the Halcyon. They're
I
like
I
very
don't know what
powerful.
that is.
They're like these super badass warriors that have very strong fire magic that burn people alive. I believe that they've burnt entire valleys and plains and mountains.
I believe at one point we fought with one as you described.
Yes, I have had many encounters with these Halcyons, and that is the type of magic that I feel from this boy. It is the same. It's very off-putting, but yet on his neck he has that amulet. It is quite a conundrum. I think I shall go and introduce myself to this boy and see if I can figure out anything more. You seem like the calming type. Perhaps you should come with.
There is probably nothing else for me here. Gnocchi!
Well, I wasn't. Maybe we should have included, Gnocchi. He's not exactly the most. Shall
Gnocchi,
we say?
the rest of this stuff, I have no idea what it is. Please, take
Okay,
it.
that sounds good. Yes.
Just as
The
you're
Italian
yelling,
accent, I hear it.
and just as you're yelling, Noki's stand up and like wiping the dust and crap off of his knees from the floor and attending to Bjorn. He trots over to you, kind of more of a waddle. And it's good to see you, old friend. He tries to go to shake your hand, and then he goes to hug you, but then it's kind of awkward because of height difference. Then back to the handshake, and he's not really sure how to greet you.
and of course, Ilgit, like foregoing the handshake, kind of picks him up in a very odd, like you would pick up a child kind of fashion. It is good to see you too, friend. You came through thin air. That was strange.
I heard you needed assistance. I told you I'd return.
Well, you never disappoint, and I could not be happier to see your face.
Me either. Kind of looking around, taking a view of the room and everything. Speaking of faces, seems one is missing.
What do you mean, missing? Or who? Who do you mean missing?
Where's Malvajan?
Well,
Name sounds familiar. Is he one of your friends?
He was lost, Gnocchi. He is dead.
My condolences to you then.
At the hand of the Celestial Empire, no less.
So they are empire now.
Dalton and his evil schemes infiltrated the dwarven domain. We discovered this, but Malvedrian did not escape with that truth with his life.
This seems to be a conversation that is better between two friends, so I shall give you to your privacy. Excuse me.
And
My condolences to you both. And while they're having this conversation, I'd walk over to Milo and we'll wait our turn.
as you continue down with what happened to Malvadrian, Noki's face kind of goes redder and redder. It's already, kind of red from all this exercise he's now getting. And you can see it's more like, not sorrow, but like anger as, you talk about Dalton, who's killed another one of his friends. They were on pretty bad terms at the time of him leaving, but he never expected this.
Yes, but we have grieved already. And while his death was regrettable, we must continue forward.
I'm glad I could have returned. And we'll finish this together, like we planned on it. And we will avenge Malvadrian.
Aye, friend. Aye, we will.
And as that conversation is kind of coming to a close, Gnocchi, a man you haven't seen before, save for the very short fight that you've been a part of just now, would kind of come up to you. That same man with the stark white hair. At least that's what it looked like. It's just so blonde, it's almost white. Would kind of come up to you. He'd say, "Hello, my name is Soren. Nice to meet you. I've heard some good things from you, or rather about you, from our friend Illios here." And
Has he told you about my famous Nomish vodka?
Soren would look at Illios and kind of like raise an eyebrow.
You didn't happen to bring any, did you?
It's hidden away for special occasions only.
Of course it is.
He gives you a wink.
Gnocchi, Soren was discovered the outskirts of the Dwarven realm. He came to us escaping the Celestial Empire and has been a dear friend ever since.
Yeah, Gnocchi. Yeah, you can definitely notice that Soren is celestial. Like you see it now, even like kind of in the dark. You see the bronze-ish tint to his skin, the hair color, the eye color. It's all just kind of coming together as Illios is talking to you about him.
Thank you, Soren, for looking after the big guy while I was gone.
Yes,
He needs it. And he
Really?
lets out a hearty chuckle.
Yeah,
It's true.
Soren would snicker in reply, kind of smile a little bit, say, "You sure about that? Because really, it just feels like he's been looking after me." Anyway, Gnocchi, I have a question for you, and he kind of kneeled down into your ear. I pick up on things pretty quickly, and I feel like you have a better I mean, you know Illios the way he is. You seem to have a better head on your shoulders. Would you mind helping me look around the room for anything?
Sorry, I was interrupted.
It's okay, Dakota.
Whoa.
I can certainly do that.
All right, I'll take the left side of the room. If you could search over here, that'd be great. Go check the stuff that Illa gets knocked over. I'll go over here. And Illigith, we're just gonna be searching around for some things. You just don't break anything, okay?
But that is my specialty.
I know. So just stand still if you could. Or
I will relieve myself towards the door.
all right. As Gnocchi and Soren start looking around, while that conversation was happening, there was another conversation between Milo and Omen. So let's see what came of that.
Showtime, McGill. Inside joke to me and Julian. So, as you're kind of sitting over there, kind of in the hallway by yourself, you would see a kind of a man dressed in black kind of come up to you, and still at like a respectful distance, he would, if you're sitting down, he would like kind of kneel down to your level, looking not directly at you, but just kind of at the ground in front of you, studying your form and trying to look like he's analyzing you almost. And then
Do you have a cloak on you by any chance? I don't know how much longer these rags are gonna last.
He's obviously wearing this really lavish coat, and he's kind of looks at you, and he says, he kind of lets out this long sigh. Please be careful with this. This is my favorite coat, and it is one of kind. And he kind of drapes it around you. Deeply unsettled, and underneath his cloak, he's got just like a white cloth shirt and a black vest on. Just like there. So, I have a few questions for you, if you do not mind answering them. That amulet that you wear on your body there, what does that mean to you?
Oh, this. He kind of looks at you, and I found this one day. It was lying in a corner, and I picked it up.
Interesting. In this room?
No, not in this room.
So I don't suppose you know who the owner of it was originally.
I don't know.
It's a pity. I can tell you a little bit more about it. I'm actually that amulet there it means quite a lot. It is the symbol of a great order that used to actually were made themselves by the gods. They were created for a special purpose, to fight against a great enemy. And you see, I was the first one of these order. I believe I've heard them referred to in this time as white lighters. I see from the rags that you're wearing, it doesn't seem like you are well traveled, so to speak. So I'm sure that you are not aware of that. Is quite a sacred amulet that you have there, and I hope that it might bring you comfort as it did to many of our people back when I was around, or back in the old days. But you seem to have been through a lot, my lad, and if there's anything I can do for you in this time, please let me know.
He kind of
maybe some water or food, perhaps, or I don't know, something along these lines I can do quite easily.
He looks at you and water and food would be good. Yes.
Sure, he reaches by his bag that he kind of wears, and you see the gnomes and the I forget what they're called, but they're basically three people. They gave me this really sweet bread. I think it's made from a thing called corn. It's really cool. But anyway, here, you can have some. And then here's my water pouch. That jug there, it refills with water automatically, so you can drink as much as you want. And I added a little bit of a kick of some sweetness. I have a bit of a sweet tooth, so if it's too sweet, I apologize. It is just how I was made, so to speak.
Anything is good. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
I'm assuming that you have a normal insight.
Yeah, his insight's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, you could tell he was straight up lying when he told you that he just found the amulet.
Oh, well, that changes a few things, doesn't it? Let's revisit that, eh?
Sorry,
Oh
I'm trying to
no!
get your attention in the chat.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, the way you said it was like, I mean, I've envisioned the character like taking several glances to the side.
Yeah. No, I tried to say
yeah,
it.
I found
That was a
it.
crit fail deception, so I was trying to say it as obviously as a lie as possible.
Sorry, I wasn't looking at the
It's
chat. Doesn't
okay.
really ding or anything, so I wasn't looking at it.
I just figured that would be important for you to know that your character would easily be able to tell.
Son of a bitch! This whole thing, I was just blabbing at you for no reasons. Oh no. Okay, how do we remedy this?
It's okay. We can. You can either. So, would your character have pretended to, quote unquote, believe him, or would you have?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Confronted
That's
the
like
lie.
right,
Because
it's like right at the edge.
if you would have pretended to believe him, then everything that happened as is. But if not, then we can just.
Okay, yeah, let's just
I
for
kind
the
of,
sake of ease, let's just do that.
yeah, I just
Okay,
thought
sorry about that.
it was like, huh, okay. And then
Yeah, I was waiting for like insight, but your passive would have been definitely enough.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything because but
Damn it.
Brandon Moley's just like, wow, does he not remember everything I just told him?
Okay, I tell you everything I told you, and we go from there. Yes.
Yeah, probably around that time, Illios, directed by Soren, probably would be near y'all. He's kind of walking over there. Assuming he did that, Logan.
yes. I was told I was too destructive to search the lab, so here I am.
Yeah, you don't seem to have the what they call a sensitive touch, eh? You seem like
I'm
more.
familiar with the term.
Yes. You remind me much of Kel. He's very similar in the way that he acts. It's very uncanny. You're also just a spitting image of him. It is insane, as they will say in this tongue.
What is your purpose here?
Oh, that is quite blunt. Yes, I suppose I never really properly introduced my purpose here. So, as you previously saw, I came in with your friend. I believe his name is Gnocchi. We just met. So we're not super well acquainted. But yeah, so long story short, I was trapped away in some sort of slumber type of a thing. I don't really remember too much. And before I awoke, there was this flash of light, this scream, this these two souls. It felt like two distinct beings. It was one had the soul of a warrior, and the other had the soul of like a princess, I think, or something, maybe something like that. And there was so much pain, but there's also so much just justice, and it was beautiful. It woke me from what seemed to be years and years of just darkness. And I remember I reached my hand out to them, and the woman, the soul, I don't really know what exactly she is, but she reached out my hand and she whispered, your name, or something like your name. And fight. And it's all very murky. But anyway, after that happened and after all that fun stuff, I awoke from like this weird tree. That part, and then I was surrounded by a bunch of tree people. And then also the very round gnome over there. No offense to him, he's just, I've seen gnomes and it seems a bit, anyway, off the point. But they were like, "Whoa, you've like this thing has been here for thousands of years. Who are you?" And I was like, "Who are you?" And I kind of told them what I saw and my experiences, and with the Treebeard dude, I don't know, he was kind of a interesting fellow. And then he told me, after I told him the name Illiget, he was like, "Oh, Illiget the Lionheart," and I was like, I guess I just heard the first part. And so then that's when Gnocchi came into the picture, and he was like, "Okay, well, they have like a magic bean or something that can transport us there." And I was like, I mean, all right, that seems to make sense at this point. That's just kind of what the day has been. And then now I'm here. But all jokes aside, it is my nature is something that is quite unique. I asked you at the beginning if you were white lighter, and you do not seem to be familiar with this term, so let me educate you. And then it's also be a good education for the boy too, because he has the symbol of my order on his chest there. You see, what you now know as the Celestial Empire is actually some sort of offshoot of a very dark and insidious force. They were deities who basically rebelled against what is known as the Archon. I don't know if you're familiar with the term, but essentially he's a pretty big deal. And he had two children, kind of. You know, they're deities, so children are kind of a weird subject. But anyway, one of them was a daughter. Her name was Minty. She was kind and she was pure.
Wesley.
Yep.
Right. I feel like Illigus' eyes are glazing over. So if we,
Okay.
we could
Okay.
no. The
Yes.
the conversation is still happening. I just want I want to resolve Gnocchi and Soren like looking for stuff as this is going on, so that maybe they can be there for what you're saying, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Gnocchi. All right. Would you can give me a perception investigation whenever you want to kind of look around this room, see if you can find anything that is noteworthy. And Soren will do the same.
Let's see. I'm gonna use inspiration on that. 6. And okay. It's gonna be a 12 on the die. And would you say to roll with it?
Either perception or investigation, whichever.
It's gonna be an unnatural 20.
Okay, a natural 20. All right. Yeah, so you and Soren are just kind of looking around here, and off to the side in a pile of these books. Yeah, in a pile of these books and other notes. The majority of them are burnt. Like, it looks like they were purposefully burnt. But you're able to find kind of two things along with Soren's aid. You find one thing, he finds another. You would find, Ryan, kind of like this burnt section of notebook that has text on it. And I don't know if you speak Dwarvish or not, but it would be written in Dwarvish.
I do.
Okay. All right. So, I can't. Do you remember off the top of your head if Soren knows Dwarvish? I'd be surprised if he didn't know it.
You know, like 6 languages, so probably.
Yeah. So looking around, let's go to that. So you and Soren just kind of looking at this note. It would read, and it kind of burns off, so it begins like in the middle of a sentence. Did not take well to the final bonding process. The souls of 8719 and 10399 have been compromised. Unsalvageable for initial purposes. Could perhaps be used to test limits of the fallen for future experiments. Recreation of 4571 success proving to be more difficult than hoped. We'll need to, and then it just kind of trails off because it was burnt in that area.
Okay. Do I find anything else?
Yep, so there's that. Soren found that page. You found kind of nearby, tucked away in a desk. You actually found these two bone white, like looking crossbow bolts that kind of have this dwarven script in it. It translates to unmake. Both of these bolts, and you find a little vial with a black liquid in it. Yeah. So that's what you find those. Do you want me to like copy the message and send it?
Yeah. The
Okay.
paper.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, while I'm doing that, at that point, that's all you could find here with your checks. And at that point, you and depending on what you wanted to do, would kind of go down. And if you were feeling left out, Nyoki, you could get in on what Omen was talking about here.
Once they're done searching, he'd go over there because he has no other uses in the room.
Gotcha. All right. Sorry to interrupt you, Wesley.
Am I just resuming, or what do you want me to do? Like flow wise, like where is he coming in? Am I ending it type of a thing and just kind of going to the end, or what's the flow of events?
I guess Nyoki and sorry, this is kind of a weird thing to do.
Nyoki would walk up, I feel, at the beginning of explaining it.
Yeah, I mean,
Considering the passage of time.
Yeah, I mean, either the beginning, and you can just kind of go from, I guess, the you were talking about the Empire and what they were. I think was the last thing you brought up.
I started talking about the children of a deity.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just start from there so that I can get the flow of it back. It is kind of a
Yeah.
interesting thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That was kind of weird to cut it off when I did. My apologies.
It's okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember what exactly I said. So there is this Archon guy, right? And he has 2 children. One of them was pure and light and good, and her name was Minty. And in the beginning, she also had a brother whose name was Malice. And me and him were very close. He was like older brother to me. And he was pure, and I thought he was good. But anyway, it's a long story, and basically the two had a falling out of sorts, and half of the deities rebelled against the Archon. And I call them deities because that's probably what you're used to. In my tongue, they're called exarchs, and there are 2 primarchs, right? So there's a bit of nomenclature, a little bit of vocabulary lesson today. So exarchs are just like normal deities, and primarchs are special place in the divinity. And you, and he points at Eligeth, your soul reminds me much of the primarch Kel. He is, if we put it in your terms, he's the good guy. Yes, he's like the general of the good side who serves the king, who is the Archon. And there is other Primarch who is not so nice. And Molly, I forgot his name, so if you could remind me of that guy's name. Yeah, I don't. Oh, that's right. That's right. And his name is Esrihel. And Esrihel, he took Malice, and they created what was the beginnings of the Celestial Empire. They ravaged the war in both the divine and in this world. And I'll just skip to the end, right? Because I see that I'm losing some of you with your attentions. Basically, I was the first of this order called the White Lighters, who was created for the sole purpose of fighting this celestial empire. And I was the first, and so I was not the perfectly made. I was a bit of a as imperfect as they say. And so I already was existing before the rest of my brothers and sisters were created. And many of my brothers and sisters were killed. I actually don't know if they are alive. Anyway, so you asked me what my purpose is here. And so my purpose is the same as you. It is to fight these people, the Celestial Empire. And there's something about that soul of that woman that reminds me much of the Archon's daughter, but it cannot be her. She is tragically, I don't know what happened to her. She was also special to me, but there is much that I do not know. And so I'm trying to find some answers. I'm trying to find many things. But above all, I'm trying to find redemption in all of this. And it seems like a good place to do that is with you, son of Kel, you, my very round friend, and the rest of you as well. And he kind of looks at the boy and then kind of looks away from the boy.
You seem very knowledgeable about several things. Tell me, where is Kel?
Oh, that is a loaded question. Let me see if I can try to answer it. First off, I don't really know where I am right now. So, but basically, there were these sort of gates or portals type of a thing. And anytime I needed to get from this world or wherever the hell I am right now to back to where the big boys lived, I would use that sort of gate type of a thing. I never created any of these gates; they were already there for me. So I don't really know that much about that. I'm sorry, but all I know is that back in the old days, before your race actually existed, I actually have not seen anyone of your type of stature before. So it's been quite interesting to see that in the short time. But anyway, um, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like an ethereal type of a feel to it. It's it's very magical. It's very very amazing. Um, Here everything's so heavy and so dark, and there everything is very like light and airy, and it's like it's a very good feeling. It's difficult to be here sometimes.
Well, friend, you create more questions than you do answers.
That is the nature of my kind, I'm afraid. But you look like a man who's also seeking the truth.
Hmm. Well,
So why don't
I
we look
have
for this truth together?
I have not much more reason to fight than the direction of Ilmater, and so I fight.
I wonder where the distinction between Kel and Ilmater ends. Because he feels like I don't think that you feel just like Kel. So it's interesting to hear him called by a different name. And also your accent is very it sounds very familiar. It's very strange.
I don't know. Illigith is almost a little perturbed.
You seem pissed off. I'm trying not to copy your accent, but it like I'm going like a more subtle one.
Oh
And
no,
it just
no.
as I hear you, it makes it
No,
more
it
and
has
more.
nothing to do with that. No, I think it's fine.
Well,
No, it's just Illigith's never like I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of like you're kind of breaking his reality here. So he just doesn't really know how to process it.
Do we still need to be down here? Did you finish searching?
you two seem to be back, so I would assume that you found everything you've hoped to find. Gnocchi and what was your name again? Something with an S.
Soren.
Soren, yes. I'll take your deafening silence as yes.
I was just waiting to see if Gnocchi was going to say something. Oh, Gnocchi is back now. I did not realize he was gone.
Sorry, river problems.
Have you tried a dam?
If only.
But yeah, Soren would say, yes, I think we found everything that we can from this room. Gnocchi, would you agree with me on that?
I would say so.
All right. Oh, and just to, because I'm the best DM ever, let's go ahead and say that Bjorn, after Gnocchi tended to him, was kind of up and about and listening to this conversation, but still kind of groggy and like out of it. Okay. So everyone is awake now. Everyone's good. Leave.
I don't see any other reason for us to stay, so we shall go, my tattered friend. Also, does anyone have any other clothes for him, please? I would like my coat back. No offense, boy. It's very precious to me. Anyone?
I think mine are a little too big.
I
But
see.
You seem like the perfect size.
Hmm.
You can have it back. I'll find something else. And he takes off the cloak and hands it out.
Surely there must be someone who has something. Soren, you look to be his size.
That does seem like a better fit.
Also, that cloak was very heavy to you, like very. Actually, no, it wasn't. Nope, never mind. I take that back. It was just the right weight. Just kidding.
Yeah. Soren.
My hand is still reached out with the cloak in hand.
He takes it and kind of folds it over his arm. Thank you, my sir.
Yeah,
You know, I
Soren-
can clean you up a little bit if that helps with the smells.
I'm fine.
Mm. That is a word for it.
At Soren being asked to hand over his cloak that he has on, just kind of looks down at Milo, kind of puts his hand on his cloak, shrugs, and hands it to him. I'm assuming we can get you some more clothes once we get up there. And Soren would kind of look at Bjorn. Says, I mean, yes, of course. I'm sorry, my friends. I'm still very out of things. How did you two even get here? And that's talking to Gnocchi and Omen, but that I'm assuming those questions can just be answered as y'all are walking back. And
Before we leave, Milo asks like, "Can we leave?" And then says, could we take them elsewhere?" And he's pointedly looking at the two bodies on the ground.
We can do that. And he kind of pushes Ilga towards the children.
yeah, Bjorn. And just to show you, Julian, this is what Bjorn looks like. In case you don't remember. Yeah, that's him right now. Kind of moving through this place. Bjorn would ask, while Ilgith is going to get the bodies, assuming he does that. Say, did you know them? To Milo.
Did I know them? To DM.
Yeah. So
I don't.
Yeah. So looking at them, your mind is hazy. That time is hazy, but when you look at them, your heart just starts to kind of like beat a little bit faster. You start feeling agitated, maybe shake a little bit.
So Milo would respond, we shared a similar pain.
Yes, well, whatever happened down here, I am sorry for anything my ancestors might have done to you.
Your ancestors
Yes,
were the large man said were underneath Hammerlock. Is that correct?
Hammerlock. No, we are underneath Merringol.
Maringold. Do I recognize this name?
You do. It was the city that you were taken to.
Okay.
Do we know what Hammerlock is?
Yeah, so Bjorn at that question would continue on in that line of reasoning as you are walking down. Why bring up Hammerlock? It is an old name. And so no, Nyoki, you would not know what Hammerlock is. But
What do you
Bjorn
mean
seems to.
old? I grew up in Hammerlock.
Hammerlock was an old human city
But
occupied by my ancestors. It was a very long time ago. My father might have more information for you. He is more well versed in our histories than I.
all right. What year is it?
Alright, so Bjorn would spat out a year, and it is a convention that you do not recognize. Like a convention of telling time that you are not aware of.
Golly, these two are freaking old. Gee.
We are kindred spirits.
You were walking behind us, I assume, and just speak.
I mean, we're all
Maybe
walking at the same, like within less than 5 feet of each other. So,
This was an A and B conversation, Wesley. I'm kidding.
well, I see how it is, Miguel.
Milo kind of like wasn't just had been focused entirely on the conversation with Bjorn, and says, kindred spirits, I doubt that, looking at your outfit and your demeanor and your personality.
Mm.
I can tell you are confused. What year do you think it is?
What year do I think it is? Holy.
Yeah, so you'd say some kind of a naming convention. Sorry, lazy DMing. You'd say some kind of yearly convention, and Bjorn would just kind of blink, and it would cause everyone else to blink as well.
Except for me.
Yeah, Illigith, you might not be well versed in that. I don't know, but it caused Gnocchi to blink for sure, and Bjorn would just say, "By that convention, that is." You are over 1,000 years old, my friend.
He's so young.
I hate
That
you.
was no joke. What? You think 1,000 years is a long time? How old are the rest of you? Oh, I forgot you were mother-born. My apologies. Forgive me. That's old in your years?
Yes, you are the weird one here.
I see.
Milo
I see that. Okay.
leans into Gnocchi and whispers, "Is he always such a prick?"
I've known him about 20 seconds longer than you have.
Ah, so yes.
Yeah, it seems so.
Omen will remember that.
You did not hear that. Roll a perception, you bastard.
I hear everything.
You're not God.
Omen
Am I
sees
not?
everything. Omen hears everything. Omen knows everything. He is Omen.
Omen is behind you. He is Shia LaBeouf.
But yeah. Soren, as we're kind of walking, he's taking this in as well. As we're going, you would come across a familiar symbol that y'all were. I say familiar in that y'all saw it as y'all were coming down here, but kind of like these tattered green flags that had this symbol on them, and y'all asked Bjorn, "Hey, what the hell is this?" And he was like, "I don't
Wait.
know."
Do I recognize it?
You do not.
Damn it, Mowgli.
What about the really old guy to see?
I'm too busy being a prick to look down.
Omen
It's
has
beneath me. Get it?
Omen has no idea what this is.
Rude.
But
Not
I mean,
so wise for your age, are you?
I mean, Bjorn kind of suggested that it was like a dwarven symbol, kind of like this ancient dwarven symbol, or at least one that he might have seen before, but he's not aware as to the meaning of it. Last session.
Noki's
So.
gonna take out a piece of parchment and draw the symbol.
All right.
Why don't we have a wizard? A useless one. I mean, a useful one.
All right. Let's see. Back to this. So, did I have a? Anyway, I'll just go back to this picture for now. Do y'all want to wait for Logan?
Sure.
Yes, I got kind
Well,
of.
time for some shitty banter.
So, I'm sorry, but I'm glad we're in agreement of the status of prickishness of that man. But
Like, who names
What?
themselves Omen?
what are you?
You mean my race?
Yes.
I am a gnome from the mountains.
Do I know what a gnome is, Molly?
You do know what a gnome is.
Damn it, Molly. Oh.
Who is the prick, man?
I haven't encountered many.
Yeah, to be fair, there would not have been many where you lived. Maybe like the odd one out. Like as like a craftsman or a vendor or something like that. But always someone that like a tradesman or someone that like kind of like came in and moved out, never like took permanent residence, if that makes sense.
I once knew a gnome. He was very good at making shoes.
Sounds just like my guild, except we specialize in weaponry. And he points to pistol, shotgun, musket, musket.
Do I recognize those, Molly?
Good Lord, no.
Yes. What are those exactly? You said weapons.
This is my guild's take on the advancement of ranged weaponry. Like crossbows and bows, but much better.
May I see one?
And he'll pull out a pistol and hand it to you and says,
I look directly down the barrel.
He slaps it up out of your hand and let's not do that one. Goes, yeah. Let me give you a little demonstration. And he turns like backwards and he fires the pistol down the hallway they've been traveling.
That is quite loud.
Yep, that thing echoes throughout the cavern.
So let's not point it at our own heads this time. And he flips it back around, hands it to you, and says, "Don't pull the trigger again."
Yeah, and Omen, by the way, you don't know what those are either. Just throwing that out there.
Interesting. So is that an energy-based thing, or is it like gunpowder-based, or how do those things actually fire? This is me asking, like what I just saw.
It is not gunpowder.
Okay, so what type of? How is the
What did it
thing
look-
shot? What does it
There you
look
go.
like?
You're up, Gnocchi.
I'm a stormtrooper. I never hit anything. There's like a little crystal purple gem that matched the stalagmites or stalactites that were in the laboratory, except it's kind of been refined and is placed into the side of this. And when he fired it, it glowed purple for a brief second, and the energy looked like it went from the gem and out the barrel.
I would recognize the anacalcum crystal, wouldn't I, Molly?
You wouldn't actually.
All right, fucker.
Molly, was that vision the first time I heard the name Kronos?
No.
Okay. Got it.
You definitely know what that name is and
Yeah.
who that is.
While we're here and talking about weaponry, he looks kind of over at Bjorn. I found these 2 crossbow bolts in one of the desks, and it says "Unmake" in Dwarvish. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Bjorn kind of holds out his hand for the bolts. And kind of takes them and looks them over. You know, closes one eye, holds one open, looks at it real close.
Or Milo, maybe you know from.
Do
Or
I
Ty-
know?
And he hands the other bolt to Milo.
Molly, do I know?
Milo, when you hold this bolt, you kind of wince.
I drop it.
Hey, careful with that.
Sorry.
I mage hand and catch it before it drops to the ground. Oh yeah,
All is redeemed, Omen.
indeed. I bring it back up.
Noki leans into Milo. Real prick.
Buddy, help you.
Thank you. Good
What was
catch.
that?
That was a great catch. I was just saying.
Mm.
Telling my new friend here.
You whispered something over to the boy there.
I just didn't want you to hear how impressive I thought you were.
You know I can tell that you're lying, right?
Can you, bitch?
Milo screams in his face.
No, this is me at Wesley.
My character has a very good insight, so I would be pretty surprised. And Noki's not exactly a great liar.
He kind of shrugs when you come back to what he says.
Yeah, but Bjorn, after kind of looking this over, he'd say, it reminds me of, I don't know, this maybe seems like something that could be found in a vault, but I've seen magical weapons before. These inscriptions remind me of it, but it is something that has been lost to my people for the most part. But it does not look like a normal crossbow bolt and not like anything I have seen in terms of crossbow bolts.
You don't happen to have an expert in history here, do you?
That would be my father and his clerks.
I think we should see them next.
Yes. There are a lot of things that I would like to check on.
Noki has no idea Bjorn's the prince.
Yeah,
by
I
the
know.
way.
This is hilarious.
Or where he is.
Yeah. Bjorn. Yeah. as Bjorn is kind of saying, yes, there are a lot of things I would like to ask. He's kind of eyeing Milo and flits a glance at Omen. Anyway, no one answered my question. I was out of it. It was like that thing had control of me, that entity. Where did you both come from? He's talking to Gnocchi and Omen.
An old friend knew that y'all were in trouble and you needed help, and so he brought Omen to me, and then he brought Omen and I to you, and we came.
Where were you previously?
My gnomish guild.
Oh, so you're one of them. Yes, I apologize. My people have not been very kind to yours for the past few years. But that is likely to change with this new alliance. Which is news to Gnocchi.
And Omen.
Yeah, and Omen.
So as you're all
And Milo.
walking, I guess the one who would notice this is Omen. Um, you realize that although no one is trying to be particularly quiet, we are not practically not making any sound while walking.
Cool.
Mm.
There was another thing that we found. This part of a book. The book was mostly burned, but Soren did manage to find this one page. And if he has it, he pulls out and reads it, or he asks Soren to.
Yeah, I can actually... Let me log into GroupMe real quick, and I can just copy-paste that.
I can do it, Molly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be helpful. Just into the chat. Yeah, and Milo, you can read Dwarvish. So... Well, actually...
Yee.
Read? I don't know if you could read.
Molly, I have Dwarvish in my character sheet. I can read Dwarvish.
Alright, fine, go for
This
it.
is new Dwarvish.
No.
This is actually Dwarvish written how Milo learned it, so you know.
I would also, so I'm going to cast Comprehend Languages as a ritual so that I can read it as well. So Discord or GroupMe is to me as well.
It's in the
Yeah, it's in
screen.
the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw. It wasn't secret? That's lame.
He read it out loud.
Yeah. It
Dang.
did not take well to the final bonding process. The souls of 8719 and 10339 have been compromised. And, you know, onwards. Recreation of 4571 success proving to be more difficult than hoped.
Does everyone here see in the darkness?
I can.
I don't think Illios and Soren can.
Yeah, so Soren would... Actually, no,
No,
because you can't light a torch in this place, so Soren wouldn't have a torch. He'd just kind of be...
What do you mean you
following.
can't light a torch in this place?
Try it.
What?
Well, Milo, maybe if you had that question, you'd be wondering why no one has lit a torch, but it's not really an issue for you. So, who knows?
What race is Milo?
He looks pretty human.
So it should be an issue for him. Oh, you metagaming fuck.
Anyway, unless there's a conversation you'd like to end, I can go ahead and say we're making it to the entrance of the crypt here. where y'all came in from.
Not
Oh
unless
God, I
Milo
do
has anything
smell.
to say about the letter.
Yeah, is there anything, Milo? You would recognize one number in
Yep,
particular.
I do recognize one number in particular. But I rolled a bitchin' deception check to not react, so
Now that Omen's eyes are just trained on you constantly.
yep.
Um,
I already don't trust you, so I'm not going to believe anything you say.
nice. All right. So
Wait. So, Molly, my body is covered in tattoos that I didn't have before.
Oh,
Is one of them a number?
4571, perhaps?
No.
Is that no
Yes.
really a yes?
is that number
I would-
across your forehead, Milo?
Wait, no,
Related
stop.
to this
Molly,
one?
answer the question first.
Yes.
All right. I'm using sorcery point for stealth spell casting, and I'm minor illusion in that shit.
I'm going to do a saving throw, definitely, for this bullshit.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so is he going against my stealth?
Sure.
No. Wait. It's I'm using sorcery points.
You still are casting minor illusion, which is still
For
an
subtle
illusion.
spell. Yeah, okay. I guess it would be sleight of hand.
So, are you have to do a sleight of hand to cast the spell, and then
No,
also when
I
you
don't.
cast the spell?
No, I don't. Subtle.
No, I'm
Subtle
asking
spell.
you how that works.
So subtle spell means you don't see me casting it, but the numbers change, and so I guess you'd roll a perception to see if the numbers change.
It's your minor illusion's an investigation.
Oh, okay. An investigation, then, I guess.
Yeah. Which I have a +9 investigation.
You bitch.
Booyah! All right, let's see. Where's that dice app? Anyway, while this is
Wait,
taking
is it
time-
even visible, Molly? Is it covered by my rags?
It is not visible, which is why I've been like.
Okay,
Why
good.
didn't you say anything?
I don't do what I did then, Molly. Jeez.
Okay.
I just
Sounds like a
I
bad
know
word
for the
for a number.
future now.
I've just been like. It's just we had talked about where it was, and you were kind of
Oh,
talking
that's
like
what's branded on
feel
me.
like it
Got
wasn't there. Okay. Anyway.
Got it. I remember now. I remembered the man, Molly. This is all making sense.
Yeah. Regardless, y'all make it to the entrance. Y'all make it out of that place. Milo, when you leave it, it's like a weight leaves your shoulders, and it's like it's fresh air.
Yes, I had an actual line when leaving. I was like, "Oh God, I did smell," and as I'm saying it, the smell is gone.
I take a deep breath in and say, that is a lovely scent, much better.
That was worse than my mother's cooking.
Jesus, gnocchi.
I didn't actually know my mother, so I can say these things.
It's even worse.
All right, guys. So as y'all come out, y'all are greeted by, well, not really greeted. Old Roderick Ironnose here and some of his rangers and the King's Guard are just kind of standing there, weapons at the ready, waiting for whatever came out of this room. And as y'all come out, Roderick visibly relaxes. Just kind of putting his weapon down. Oh, thank more than above. Oh. All right, you're all good.
Milo
All right.
looks visibly uncomfortable around all these dwarves.
Yeah, don't have to kill anything.
I doubt you could take a great gnome like myself.
Yeah, so Roderick is just kind of looking at Gnocchi, Milo, and Omen, the three people that were not with you when you went in here. He'd kind of cock an eyebrow at Illios and Bjorn and Soren. He'd say, so, who are these guys?
Well, two of them are older than perhaps my greatest great-great-grandmother, and one of them is my best friend.
Milo
best
kind of
friend.
opens his mouth to say something, shuts it, closes his eyes, and just sighs.
At what you said, Illios, Roderick kind of looks, and from what you said, he's counting 3, and you were describing 2, and so Roderick, just kind of scratches his iron nose and says, "And I'm going to go ahead and guess that the refined one is not your best friend. I believe that you have talked about a gnome before, so I'm going to go with him, and I have no idea who that child is."
Neither do we,
All
so
right,
to speak.
Your Highness, I'm assuming they can be trusted, since they're with all of you. And Bjorn would kind of nod. Yes, and they bring a lot of questions, more so than any answers we could have gotten by going down there. Yes, well, we were, Roderick is kind of responding. Just in case anyone's wondering, we were able to quell the dwarven crowd. There is no more panic, although there is, I wouldn't say unrest, but anyway, Anvar would like to see all of you that you are safe. And if I'm going to be honest, not you, Your Highness, because I'm not allowed to say it, but to the rest of you, except for the well-dressed man, you all look like shit. So I take it was not a very fun experience down there.
Excuse you. I look fantastic.
Wearing a god ugly red. You're dusty.
Your nose is purple. What's it to you?
And you smell like forests.
You are speaking to the king of the gnomes. Show some respect.
He points to the child. Yeah.
Roderick rolls his eyes. The gnomes have no king. Anyway.
Sorry, we have elected officials. President.
He looks over. Damn, that would have been important information.
Yeah, this child does not know gnomish society, but what he says is not wrong. I'm like a king, except my people want me to lead them.
All right. Well, glad to have you aboard. So since you all look like shit, I am wondering, would you like to speak with my father now, or would you like to rest? I'll leave that up to you, but the discussion needs to be had. Either way.
Could I have some clothes?
Yes. We can get you some clothing when we go to the palace.
The palace?
Yes. I see you don't know where you are. You are in the dwarven capital of Merengol.
Capital. All
Yes.
right.
It was the capital in your time as well.
Yes, okay. And you're the king? And I'm assuming this is the guard talking, not the king, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Roderick would just kind of laugh. Me, king? No, he's who I answer to, and him right there. And he kind of points at Bjorn, and Bjorn would roll his eyes.
Oh, so you're the brother kings. And then I would say, you're the descendants of Ragnar and Harold, then?
Roderick would just kind of tilt his head, and Bjorn, at that statement, would kind of narrow his eyes at you. I am the descendant of Yngvar Ironhelm, yes. Why do you know this? Anyway, these conversations should be had in front of my father. As I said, he is more well versed. I might not be at my best, but I will leave it up to you all, your discretion, whether or not we go to talk with my father right now or we rest and gather our thoughts. Yep, I mean, I'm waiting for a response.
Yeah, Milo would not be taking the lead on this one.
To the king.
Okay, no los dos.
Oh man.
The sooner we see the king, the sooner we can get out of this filthy place.
Roderick narrows his eyes at you. He doesn't say anything more.
Sorry.
Yeah, he kind of
Bjorn.
turns his back, gestures for everyone to follow him, and you all kind of walk through the city streets. I'm surrounded by this kind of procession of King's Guard and Dwarven Rangers. Yep, and I'm Milo, as you're walking through these city streets. To be fair, you knew that you were in Marangol, but you haven't actually seen the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're just kind of looking around, taking things in. You do see, this wouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I guess it would be a surprise to Nyoki or like anything. You just look around. It looks like this place used to be a war zone, but people are doing their best to rebuild around you as you're walking up to the palace, kind of uphill.
It looks like quite the fight you had there with Dalton.
Bjorn, say something. Assuming no one else is saying anything. We did not fight here. This is the result of a war between my people. That fight was in the throne room.
Do I recognize the name Dalton?
No.
My apologies, sir.
As we're walking, you see Milo's getting increasingly nervous. And then as like mid-step, he just disappears.
So I have my eyes on Milo pretty much. Like, I do not trust Milo. So I don't know how you want to do this. I would immediately bring up the fact you said you just disappeared.
Yeah, as he's walking, he just looks increasingly nervous, looking at all these dwarves around him, and then he just poofs.
It appears that the boy has run away.
What are you talking about?
Are you in? I reach out my hand to where you were. Do I feel body?
Yeah. I'm right here.
My boy, I believe in your fear you have turned yourself invisible. Hello.
Invisible.
Look at your
And
hand.
he looks down and sees a strange, shadowy aura surrounding it, and what? And then you see him pop back.
He takes like a deep whiff. Hey, Molly, sense-wise, when that shadowy magic type of a thing appeared, did anything go off in my little radar thing?
Nothing that you hadn't already felt.
Okay.
Same with Illios. But yeah, yeah. As that just kind of happens, I'm assuming the procession just kind of keeps on walking as you're getting to the front of the palace, and Soren would say, "You cannot control your magic."
Magic?
Well, Soren says, looking ahead, this is going to be a fun conversation.
I'm curious, Soren, you also have magic, as you call it.
Yes, I do.
What does it feel like, Molly? Also, there's a reverb in the background. I don't know if you guys also hear it, or an echo.
I do not hear anything.
Okay.
To you, Soren, I mean, he's not really doing anything right now. He looks like a celestial. You don't really feel any kind of like magical aura around him or anything like that at the moment.
Huh. That is. I don't sense any of what you would call magic on you.
Well, I'm
Or
in
in
control
you.
of it. It's there. I just decide when to let it out.
Is this? No. I'll let you continue questioning the boy. I'm interested to hear his response.
So, right now, any questions anyone has, I think would be better served at this talk we're going to have. Bjorn would nod. And Roderick would take y'all to a chamber that y'all are not, or to those of you that have been here. I keep saying that because there are 3 people here. 2 of the players have been here. Technically, Logan. Okay, Logan, you've been taken to a room that you've not been in yet, and kind of in that room is a large stone table, and kind of sitting in the middle of it is a map of Illios, kind of at the center. There are various dwarven trophies and weaponry that adorn the walls, and the king himself, Anvar, is kind of sitting near the head table, kind of off to the side, with these dwarves in robes and kind of like these notepads and quills, and there's some Kingsguard around. And he, as y'all enter, he nods. It is glad to see that all of you are in one piece. As well as the new faces. And he would ask. I mean, he would ask who y'all are. It's that's kind of been done to death at this point. But if y'all want to introduce yourselves to the king, you can.
Milo is not speaking at all. He's kind of at the back of the group, just very quiet.
Gotcha.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, King of the Dwarves. My name is Omen. He bows deeply.
Rise.
He rises.
Yeah.
I must admit, King, it is pleasant to speak with someone who has a good sense of decorum. I've missed that quite of late.
Yes,
Thank you for allowing us into your court.
It is not surprising of this group, but they get a pass. You are standing amongst heroes. You gesture to
I
Illios
can see that.
and Soren.
I am Noki, leader of my Gnomish guild.
I message Gnocchi, bow.
Noki doesn't bow.
Anvar narrows his eyes. I was not aware of a gnomish presence in the city. How did you arrive here?
An old friend told me Bjorn here and my good friend Illigith needed help. And so Omen and I came to help. We didn't know where we were going, just that they needed help. Here we are.
If you are a companion of Illios, then I welcome you.
We may be companions, but as he says, we are best friends. And he gets an Illigith-sized smile on his face.
All right. Yeah. At this now. Yeah. You kind of say he gesture for all of y'all to take seats around this table. Tell me, what did you find? What was the cause of that light, that earthquake, the shaking? And would y'all like to take a break right now? Realize we've been going for a little bit, and then just kind of get back into this after the break.
I have no preference either way.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Yeah.
That works for me.
I feel like people are a little quiet right now. All right. Okay. Well, we'll take a 10-minute break, then come back.
Okay. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there?
Silly Julian. 10 minutes is never 10 minutes. But yeah, we should all be getting back in about now.
Cool. Yeah, Milo's been at the back, by the way, avoiding eye contact with anyone, looking down at the
Oh, yeah.
ground.
Oh yeah.
This is not his his scene.
Yeah. You're just walking in, you're walking amongst a king and
Yeah, nope.
stuff like that, and you're like, what is going on? Where am I? What year is it?
I just want some damn clothes, and no one has given me some damn clothes, except for one weird man who immediately took it away.
Soren gave you his cloak.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have that.
Okay.
All right. All right, let's see. All right. All who are present say aye.
I.
I
One
Rip.
more. One more.
Noki.
Ryan.
Oh no.
Illigith, I'm sorry. Your best friend is once again being left.
He's being held outside for being a gnome because dwarvish racism.
Yep. Meanwhile, the half giant in the room.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So Julian, Goliaths, and oh wait, you don't actually we wouldn't know yet. Never mind. I'll let Molly explain if he wants to explain.
Yeah, if it comes up, then it'll come up.
Yeah.
All right.
Omen, you act exactly how I would expect a disconnected half deity to act.
Like a prick.
Yep.
I was trying to cultivate that.
You're definitely helping Milo have the attitude of the gods never cared for us. Why should we care about them?
Oh, I'm honored that you consider to me to be a god.
Yeah, I will say that Wesley, I have been enjoying the slight accent and the cadence in which you've been speaking for Omen.
I just can't talk with Logan because his accent's infectious.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why don't we just all be Russians for this campaign, you know?
It's okay.
I like it. It's good, yes?
It's okay.
No key. I am so no key.
Illigith for like the last 8 or 9, well, 10 plus, or yeah, like nearly 10 sessions of this campaign.
I imagine Illigith is like the tired uncle with just like a bunch of kids fighting around him and like pulling on his ears and like pulling on his arms and legs, and he's just like so done.
This does not fit at all. Ah, Noki is backy.
Oh, right when I messaged. Okay, good. Is it Backy or Backill? I think it's Backle. All right.
It's definitely Beckle.
Yep. So to just kind of go ahead and streamline this. So I'm the king. So the king asks, what did we find down there? What was happening? And yeah. From that point, we can. It's been talked about a lot. Already up to this point. If like say.
Maybe if we could talk at like a high level of what, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so one, it'd be useful for us to remember exactly.
And 2, it gives me some kind of a flow to go off of.
So there is that giant beam of light, right? That happened that was off in the distance or something like that?
Yeah, so a beam of light, Ilgith and Soren would have known that this beam of light just kind of like erupted from the... Really, is the word really escaping me right now?
Crypt?
I'll say
Dungeons?
shrine. It's not a shrine. The church. Are you kidding me? Like the Royal Church of Moradin is like where y'all had the funeral for Mal. Like a beam of light came up. The forge was ripped asunder. There was a door behind there. Y'all went down there, explore, and everything that happened down there happened.
And what happened down there exactly? They came across a guy. The boy was in the crystal, and there was that weird.
Yeah.
What was this guy's? I don't know, like a mad scientist dude.
Yeah. So Milo's in the crystal. Illigith brought up the sword. So there was like a mad scientist, like ghost, just kind of going around. Ilgith brought up Minty's sword to the crystal, causing it to shatter. Technically not what happened, but that's my headcanon. He held up the sword, it shattered. Milo, kind of fell to the ground. A fight ensued with these two giant abominations.
And the ghost didn't die, right? Like he just disappeared off to some other place, right? Like we didn't actually kill him.
No, the ghost died.
Yeah.
Milo froze.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he froze him out of existence.
Very edgelord.
Yeah, and then everything
like it.
after that happened, beginning of the session on.
I don't mean to interrupt your highness. Am I allowed to leave? Is Hammerlock still there? What is where are we? What am I here for?
You are here because whatever happened with that beam of light into my city, you were somehow in the middle of everything. You speak of Hammerlock as if it is a current city. It is not. It was a human city that was once occupied by our ancestors nearly 1,500 years ago.
I only see one throne. Where's the second one? I thought, points at Bjorn. Do you not rule together with him?
Anvar would kind of. Actually, no, he wouldn't chuckle. He'd just keep looking at you. He is my son, my heir. There is only one king in Targenstal, the way it has been for a very, very long time now. The diarchy is dead. It died long ago with Ingvar and Harald. The symbol you brought before me. I imagine if Nyoki, you said you drew it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, drew that symbol. So he would, kind of point to that drawing. That gives me a rough frame of reference from when you were around. You were around during the time of Ragnar and Harald. That symbol is a cult that Harald followed, ultimately bringing this kingdom to its knees. Until Ingvar, Ragnar's son, put a stop to it. It is ancient history among my people, but it is where my line began. And I see that my son has some studying to do upon his history.
But the cult is gone now, right?
As far as we know, any cultists that were involved with Harald, or as he was known back then, Kronos, those cultists took to culling him, were banished up north into the ice fields, where the Goliaths now reign.
At the mention of the name Kronos,
They died long ago.
Milo gets a look of intense fear in his eyes. But Kronos is dead now, right?
As far as we know, he should have died by Ingvar's hand a long time ago. Do you have reason to believe he is not?
Milo is silent for a little bit. I had a nightmare before waking up, but it means nothing.
It's not. It wouldn't be possible for a dwarf to live that long, is it? Over 1,500 years.
Bjorn would pipe up. I would have agreed with you had a young boy that is 1,500 years old is not standing in front of me right now.
Yes, but he is a special case, and he was locked away.
Let us hope so. And Anvar would nod. Kronos is not someone, a dwarf that. All I can say is that if he is somehow alive like you were, it is not a good sign. That man was responsible for the fall of our empire, our kingdom. He did committed great evil acts. If he is alive, it is not good. And take it from me, nightmares and visions. They are not to be trusted. At least the ones I received. I would hope that yours are too a lie. And like as he's kind of saying this, Milo, like everything he's saying like makes sense. Like their skepticism is, completely on the mark. Like it makes sense, but there's just something about that vision, something that was said, there's just something within you that doesn't want to believe the logic. If that makes sense. Like you saw him again.
I think I just need some sleep. Is there perhaps a stable I can stay in? Do you have work? I am in need of some clothes and
Stable. Right now you are a guest in my house. If you wish to rest, I can have someone bring you to a room and have clothes provided for you.
Milo just nods.
I would like a room near his, if you don't mind.
Anvar just looks at you. Any accommodation is a friend of the heroes, Soren and Illios. I will see it through. They have done me a great service. But right now... Oh, what are you going to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say he nods and says thank you.
Gotcha. What part do you have to play in this? Anvar would say to Omen.
Oh no, you shouldn't have done that.
Spark notes.
I would, yeah, Spark Notes. You know, I'm a semi-divine being, first of my kind. celestial empire is the beginning of, had its beginnings in a deity war, yada yada, fighting for the good side, trying to overthrow the bad side. Came here with these guys, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I can give you Anvar's reaction. He
All
stares.
right.
He stares at you. Kind of looks to Bjorn. Bjorn has also just like a concerned look on his face, kind of shaking his head a little bit, and Anvar would say, "What you speak is troubling, but what I care about is, are you here to help us stop the Celestials?"
Yes, I am here to find the truth. I'm here to fight from the side of truth.
Yeah. Then
And I
that is
believe.
and he
Yeah,
would
so,
actually interrupt you. He would say, "Then that is all I need, to know that you are on our side. What you say goes into the face of everything that my people know, and it sounds like hogwash. If you are here to fight for us, then I will have you."
And it is an honor to consider you an ally then.
Yes. The implications of your words can be thought on later. And there have been dwarven clerks and like scribes in here that have just kind of been writing down every word that has been said to kind of chronicle it. And Anvar would say, "Now that we are caught up on that, we must discuss how we are going to move forward. Illios, it has been brought to my attention that you would like to lead this envoy into the Goliath camps.
I am willing to do so.
It should be noted that what you are trying to do is not an easy task. Do you have any experience with these tribes other than your own?"
None that would matter.
Sorry, I almost forgot. Before
Everyone would look at Gnocchi.
we continue, I'd like to loop in Klein, the leader of the Silver Serpents, if y'all don't mind. He waits like 3 seconds and no one says anything.
Yeah, Anvar just kind of raises an eyebrow. "I have heard of this name. What do you mean bring him into the loop?"
You see, Noma's technology, thing of wonder. And he pulls out a stone from his pocket and he places it in the middle of the table and he traces the symbol with his finger, and this little light comes out of the symbol. And a second later, like a hologram of what appears to be Klein visible.
Kells bells.
Remarkable.
Yeah, and so before y'all, as he's gotten this out, kind of on the table here, you see play Hell's Bells. On the table here is an image of a face that Illigith you haven't seen in quite some time. It's been a while, probably been a couple months since you last saw this man. As I pull his picture up, but you see the man before you, and kind of this holographic image. It would seem like, to use like a a modern term for it, some kind of magical projection. And he looks exactly like that, except the right side of his face has just kind of been burned. Yes, he is a lot uglier in that picture, but the right side of his face has just been burned. Hey, that's not Donovan. That doesn't look like Donovan. Get out of here. That's not Sawyer either. Whatever. Anyway, Yeah. Like half of his face has just like been burned off. You see that slacked eye. He's just kind of there.
It is so.
I hate all of you. Yeah, sorry, I don't have a mustache. Anyway, um, he would say in this, familiar gruff voice, "Yes, Officer Nyoki. Have you arrived at the Dwarven capital?"
Even better. I am here with their king, the prince, and a room full of clerks. And a child who was in a stone. A demigod thing that I'm not really sure. And my best friend, Illios.
Big smile.
So,
And Soren.
Illigith,
Oh, and
you,
Soren. Sorry. He almost split in with the background. You're so white.
Klein doesn't know Soren.
yeah. So, Klein would just look to the. He would just kind of blink and say, "How are you now?" And he'd look around like he's actually able to see all of you, and he would give a bow to the king. "Your Highness, it is an honor to be in your presence. You too, Prince." And Anvar and Bjorn would just kind of, give a curt nod. And yeah, and he'd be looking around the room. His gaze would, set on Illigith, and you'd see just a little bit of a smile. "The Lion Heart. How goes things? It has been a while since we have seen each other."
Well, considering we have rescued the dwarven people from their uprising, things are well here.
He raises his one good eyebrow. "You saved them. So the mission was a success."
Of course it was. Your mother was on our side.
He lets out a big hearty laugh. Yes, Milo should be very, very confused. And he will look around. "So, it's finally happened then, Your Highness. An alliance between the Free Folk and the Dwarven people of Targenstal?" Anvar would nod. "Yes. These heroes that you have sent here, apparently," and he'd look at, "have done what I thought not possible. I would be glad to offer any assistance in this matter. And I apologize for the way we treated you all those years ago." And Klein would say, "It is okay, Your Highness. I understand your past actions." And Klein would look around. "I see a lot of unfamiliar faces, Officer Nyoki Illigith. Where is the martyr? I do not see him among you."
He did not make it, Klein.
Yeah, no, Klein has just kind of had this small grin on his face ever since it was said that the Alliance had gone through. And the smile goes away or replaced with just like this pained expression. And he just kind of bows his head forward. "It is a shame. He was a very good man and a great soldier. How did he pass?"
He was slain by the celestial bastard known as Dalton.
I'm sorry, Illios.
Well, it was Dalton who was responsible for the Dwarven uprising, casting his fell magic and pulling the wool over the people of Darkenstall. He has been dealt with, but it cost us a heavy price.
And Klein is just kind of silent for this kind of long, 10, maybe 15-second stretch. He would say, "And it appears he is still yet a martyr for our people. He will be remembered well, and I will make sure that the people know what he died fighting for. We could use all the help we can get." Again,
Speaking of your people, how fare them against what were the things
Knowles.
coming in? Yeah, the things coming
Yeah.
in from the wastes or whatever.
yes. It has been quite some time since we've last seen each other. Let me update you. Right now, the situation is under control. Slightly, barely. It took about. After you left, the Null onslaught backed off for a little while. But recently it has started to surge once more. We are doing the best we can, we are holding on. At this point, I've been able to gather more troops from the surrounding city-states of the Free Folk. I have been using words of your deeds to help unite them, and news of a Dwarven alliance should provide a good push in that regard. As of now, we are doing fine. Could always be doing better. I've lost a lot of good men, but we're holding. Yes, and Klein would say, there's some other information that I could share with you, unless we would like to discuss other things first. Such as this trip into the Goliath waste. No, not waste. Ice fields. You know what? Strike what he just said. He's going to share some more information along the line. Illigus, since you're still kind of looking at him, and right now that line of reasoning is still there. Surprisingly, and I'm actually going to put this up now just so that y'all have a frame of reference. Where is that? Right here. Okay, that is a map of Illios. All right, so I'm just going to put that up there so that y'all have a frame of reference to follow. The border along Ghent, Maribor has been silent. There is no celestial activity that we can speak of, no kind of assault force or anything. It is strange. I have sent spies and scouts into the area. Only one of them out of all that I have sent has ever brought anything back of use before he keeled over dead. It appears that whatever they are doing, they are moving large quantities of the gemstone you know as Anacalcum from the Mariborian mines to Celestia.
Does Anacalcum ring a bell? Do I even know what that is?
You do not.
That's what I thought. So look at the pictures in the Discord, and that is Mito this entire time.
Noki did mention Anacalcum was the gem that powered his guns.
Okay, good.
So that's about it from what Nokia said about it.
Also, Milo,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume that you had seen a map of the time that you were in.
Sure. If you.
Yeah, I'm
would
gonna
seem-
say you've probably seen it at one point. The map that you are familiar with is the same, except Ghent, Maribor, and Melangar used to be one, and Fahrenheim was a part of Targenstal, that entire region. So there's something to chew on. Or one thing that you understand in this whole conversation, or one thing that would be something like that. Yeah.
He's just like, I just wanted to get some sleep.
Yeah, right.
You've been sleeping for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually up and say, should I really be here for this? I'm not entirely certain what you're all talking about, and it seems to be quite important information.
You do not want to be here, Anvar would say. There is nothing keeping you here. But seeing as that blade brought us to you, and I'm assuming that all of this was talked about, the minty saber and everything kind of leading down there, then it has led me to believe that you are important for our fight. If you do not wish to be here, you do not have to be. But I feel like this information might be helpful, as it seems your assistance could be invaluable. According to forces beyond my comprehension.
And unless you have something else that you need to attend to, I don't see why you couldn't join us.
My assistance? I'm just an urchin.
I too was once an urchin until I was given a home, and now look at me.
You're all talking about this war. These Goliaths. I. I. And he kind of like in a very quiet voice says, I didn't ask for this.
And the voice from one of the voices from your vision might kind of come to you in this moment. He needs you, small one. They all need you as much as you need them.
Ah, you bitch. Here I was thinking I could just leave and create a new character. I'm kidding.
Ha!
Just kidding.
Well, going off of what she said, none of us really asked to be here, but here we are. If we don't fight for ourselves, no one will fight for us. And, like the king said, you could be more help than you'll ever know. When this war's over, we'll make sure you aren't an urchin anymore. We'll find you some land or something to live off of. A steady job if that's what you wish.
So Milo is kind of looking down. I don't know what I want or what I would be fighting for, but he looks up and looks directly at Illigith. I will stay with you all and do what I can, but I don't know what was done to me nor what effects it had. Um, but I will stay.
And we will be glad to have you.
As this decision kind of comes over you, Milo, you feel just a slight warmth from the amulet around your neck. And I know we're in the middle of this technically little conference here. I'm going to go ahead and give a point of inspiration to Milo and Nyoki. Milo for the great roleplay, and Nyoki for the also good role-playing of, I used to be an urchin and I made something of myself, and you're going to make something of yourself too. So I thought that was really cool. Right. Yes, Anvar would say. Now that is settled, this envoy. And Klein would kind of nod alongside that. Who is going on this envoy? We must know the logistics. Obviously, you, Illigith, and your group are going.
And my axe.
Take a point of inspiration away. Do it. It's not yours anymore. Take it away. Yeah, he would say, "Do you wish to go with your group? I might be able to spare some rangers for you, if you wish." It all depends on how big of a group you would like to take.
And what's my dwarven buddy? He's got to come with us.
I know you're talking about Bjorn. Let's go ahead
No.
and assume. Oh, Dolgrim, yeah.
Yeah, Dolgrim.
Yeah. But yeah, what I was about to say is, because I'm juggling a lot of things right now. Dolgrim and Raymond would be in this room
Oh, good.
right now. Just throwing that out there. I haven't said anything. They should be there. They are there. So Illigith, you can kind of look to Dolgrim if you want.
Are we? We're going to the Goliath tribes to try to forge an alliance. Is that right, Illigith?
No, we will not try to forge alliance. We will hammer out alliance against their own will, most probably.
Is it dangerous to traverse through the territory?
Yes.
Would it be better to have a smaller group. I
As long as it would be better to have smaller group, but not tiny group. You know. We need.
If you don't mind, I think it's best that we have a few rangers who know the land. I don't know how long it's been, Illios, since you've been back in this area and what's
Oh, I
changed.
do not remember the territory of the Everfrost.
And even more reason to bring a few rangers with us who know the land and can get us around. Maybe a dozen or so in total.
Anvar and Bjorn would look to Roderick. Is this something that could be done? Bjorn would say. Do we have the men to spare for this? And Roderick would just kind of say, I mean, it puts a slight dent in my force. We are an elite group, but they can be sent. And I trust Dogrun to lead them, and you all to lead them, if you wish.
We will accept your offer of troops.
And we may need quite a bit of rations for our travels. We don't know how long we'll be out there.
Anvar would just kind of wave his hand. All of that can be arranged.
I may be small, but I eat for 3.
And I eat for 4.
Make that 5 for me then.
Anvar kind of furrows his brow. Kind of like, obviously doing the mental math of all of that. Of Gnocchi eating more or equal to Illigith. It's been some time since I've interacted with a gnome. Are all of your kind this gluttonous?
I am one of a kind. That's what makes me extra special.
Yeah, Roderick would roll his eyes. Bjorn would kind of chuckle a little bit, and Anvar just like grunts. But yeah.
I'm sorry. Malvadrian, was it? Looking at the man dressed well. Are you coming with us?
Rip.
Yeah.
That's a double yikes for me, fam.
Can I not respond to him?
Yeah, so Omen. One thing that could explain your silence, other than you're just not familiar with these people, is that map that you're just kind of looking at it. You're looking at it and you're like, huh. Yeah, that's nothing.
Nothing
like,
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nothing like what I was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Malvadrian's the one who passed. You're Omen. Will you be coming with us?
I look to the group. I look back at the map. If there are answers to be found with these Goliath tribes, then I will go there.
So no.
What
I believe
makes
that
you
was
say
a
no?
yes, my boy.
Yes.
Damn.
If anybody knows what happened to y'all's ancestors looking at the king and Bjorn, it would probably be the Goliaths. I hear they're very territorial people.
What do you mean would know about our ancestors?
I believe I forget his name, the one we spoke of earlier. They were the cult. They were pushed off towards the Everfrost.
Yes, and they died a long time ago. No one that goes out to those ice fields into the Everfrost would live.
The Goliaths do.
The Goliaths are different. Those half-giants have ice in their veins. They are the only ones that can live so far north.
Do not forget, the most successful of the Goliaths are in such a position because they steal from the dwarves.
Yes. Nodvar would nod.
When do we leave?
It will not take very long to gather these troops. Not very long at all. I guess it all depends on when you all want to leave.
Tomorrow.
Klein, who's just kind of been silent and just kind of observing everything, kind of nodding. Excellent. Illigith. Yoki. And everyone else here that I am just been acquainted with. Do your best. Continue your campaign. We need all the help we can get. The Goliaths are fierce warriors. And I only know one. And he looks at Illigith. But if any of them are anywhere near what you are capable of, we will be glad to have them.
And that is why our endeavor is worth it.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Who do I talk to get clothes?
It can be arranged, boy. Wait till the meeting is done. Yeah, rip. But yeah.
If we are to depart in the morning, then perhaps tonight we should. How do I say it? But feast.
Get
He gets a big smile
as
across
you're
his
saying
face.
feast, Milo is saying get prepared, and then he stops. And,
Nice. And I'm
Stew is a favorite of ours. Extra potatoes.
if you would wish to throw a feast in your honor, I would be glad to make that happen. You've
Not
done
my
much
honor
for
per
our
se.
people.
Not for my honor, but the honor of the heroes here. He points to Soren and Illigith.
Indeed, and our pending victory.
Klein would nod. Of course. And you, what was your name? Soren? Soren, who's just kind of been silently taking all of this in so far. We kind of perk up at his name being said. Yes. I have a task for you, if you would have me, as your commander. I have received word from someone that said he would like to talk with you very much. His name is Severus. And Soren's eyes would just kind of go wide. He'd say, My father spoke to you. Yes. If you would like to stay behind, we can talk about the logistics of this. And what I would have you do if you wish to see him and speak with him. Well, really good. And yeah. So, Anvar would say, all of you are dismissed unless you would like to stick around and listen to the logistics with me and Klein.
It's as if Milo was never there. I'm kidding.
He would say he'd probably say with me and the commander and not Klein. But yeah. And all right, Logan, you're saying you got to wrap up. We'll go ahead and call it there.
And may the force be with you too.
Can we do individual shopping?
Oh boy.
By shopping, I mean I need gear and clothing. Clothing, Molly, clothing. I am practically naked.
You'll never get a glass of water in this town. But yeah,
We've
what
only
gold?
once
What
this
shopping?
entire campaign, so don't get used to shopping.
I'm sure Gnocchi has like 5 silver pieces on his sheet from way back when. But yeah. Yep, that's it. That's it for this game. Went on longer than I thought it was going to. I still had more, so that's less for me to prep for next time we play, so that's good. And yep. Okay, end broadcast. Bye-bye.